Hi, good morning. I'm recording this on a sunny Sunday morning. Today we're going to go through this Garry Winogrand book. This is a book I purchased quite a number of years ago. I remember my brother came to town and there used to be a bookshop in Harajuku called BOOKMARC. I think it's part of Marc Jacobs. Anyway, I found this at the end of the year. I didn't expect it to be a sale. I think it cost me a bit cheaper than usual. But I'd always heard of the name. And I'd seen a few of his photos. I mean, I've been interested in black and white photography since about 2004. So I picked it up. And I'll apologize in advance. The audio is going to be, as usual, a little bit patchy. Because this is an old iPhone X. The lighting is natural. And I'm going to occasionally be taking sips from my coffee. Because it's Sunday morning and I'm tired. Anyway, this is a very thick book. As usual, if you've seen a few of my videos by now, I think you'll realize that I do a terrible job at reading anything that these books have. I just basically look at the photos. There's some amazing pictures though. I mean, that guy does not look like he wants to have his photo taken. Perhaps the more I do these, the more I'll do some research before, but I don't want these videos to be like an education. More so, it gives me a chance to flip through the book and kind of think about why I bought this book and why I like it. Okay, here it says that he's born 1928 and all the way through to 1984. I did watch, and there's some other kind of peers that are included here. Diane Arbus, Robert Frank, Lee Freelander. They're all great photographers. I did see a documentary on this guy once, and something interesting was that he used to carry his daughter or his niece on his back when he used to shoot photos. So a lot of the older photos are taken from, he couldn't crouch down anymore. So I think they're taken from eyesight. So that's quite interesting. Anyway, he's one of the pioneers of street photography. Now this beginning part where they have all these words, I'm not going to spend much time. I doubt that you're going to stop and zoom in and read these later, so it's a very thick book. I'm pretty sure these photos are going to pop up again, but let's just keep on flicking through. There's Garry. I remember seeing this photo. These are different photographers, right? This is Robert Frank over here, and this is Andre Cortez. There's a movie called The Conversation that has a scene that looks very much like this. It's with Gene Hackman, R.I.P. What a great photo, though. Here he is again. Shot around 1967. This is his Melissa Winogrand. I think this is the Winogrand. I'm really apologize. Let me just call him Garry because I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and I'm gonna botch it every time. This is his daughter, I believe, the one that he's carrying his shoulders, perhaps. Oh, look at Frank. Yeah, that's Robert Frank. If you haven't seen The Americans by Robert Frank, that book, I'm sure it's on there on YouTube somewhere. I can always flip through that if you want. I think that's one of the first black and white photography books I bought. Robert Frank's The Americans. It has an introduction by Kerouac. Okay, let's just quickly go through these. Down from the Bronx. So it says he worked in the Bronx taking photos until about 1971. Okay, let's go. I've said I'm not going to try to speak much, but straight away it kind of reminds me of Robert Frank, right? Circa 1950. what do you call these? These called pork pie hats. Not very common in Australia or in Japan. I don't know if you still see them much in America. Because, you know, all these photos obviously are film, and you can imagine that it wasn't that common to take photos of people walking around the streets. So you get these faces of people that are, you know, they don't seem that happy to be taken photos of, or maybe unexpected. I wonder now with the advent of iPhones whether you can still grab good photos like this, or whether they're just too common. Not so sure you would want to take photos like this nowadays. You may get arrested, mate. I've seen that photo before. I love the movement in that photo. You can kind of see where it's going to head, right? This is an interesting one. I mean, how random. Is that air conditioner? Oh my god. A lot of times, maybe the sequencing of these books is quite important, because you have this kind of, what is that? That's like a raincoat that goes over the cop's hat, and then you have this next photo, which is lady's. Oh my god, I've been in Japan too long. Her scarf that's been over her hat, over her head. So there's kind of a juxtaposition or a similarity in the photos. So I think a lot of times when I'm looking at these books, you're also trying to figure out why they put the photos next to each other. I believe this book was published after his death, if I'm not wrong. So it could be that he didn't have a say in the layout of these. I don't know enough. This is a wacky photo. I mean, that lady looks like she's crazy. Even her nails look really sharp because it's out of focus. I always love this photo as well. Looks like he's on a trampoline or something. He's maybe smoking a cigarette. Louis Armstrong. Yeah, I listened to one of his a lot of his music recently. Some of his like pioneering jazz records are amazing. If you haven't heard those, give those a listen. Don't like what's going on here. This one kind of reminds me of William Klein. Although I think William Klein would have gone a bit lower and a bit more forward, and he also would have used a wider angle lens. That's a great photo. Look at their hair. Okay, see here, like people getting into an elevator and looking at the person taking a photo. I mean, he would have had to have some balls to take that photo. They do not look like they want to have that photo taken. This is another great photo. Look at this. The glasses are great. It's great to have somebody who went out in the 60s and took all these photos. I mean, even just to capture this period of time, it's quite important. I mean, if you could spend a lot of time just thinking about these kind of photos and thinking like, I mean, the lady looks quite sad, doesn't she? She's carrying a suitcase. Who knows what's happened before, like 1 hour before this photo. Yeah, I mean, if I had more patience, I could sit down and just stare at these photos all day. And looking at photos from the 60s, I mean, this is stating the obvious, but I think this is back when people used to eat more whole foods, so people definitely look like they're in better shape than nowadays. I've loved this photo for a long time. It's a great photo. It says here that he was always enchanted by cars, especially if they seemed as animal as one Cadillac Eldorado he found steaming on 6th Avenue, the lights on the rocket fins glaring in the snowy night. So it's going to be number 87. This one. That's a great photo though, isn't it? Look at that car. Oh man. If we'd go back in time and just like say, can I buy your car, and put it in a garage for a little while, for a number of years, what a beautiful car. This is another example of creating a frame within a frame. So the windows here act like little frames within the bigger frame. And in this one you have a great picture of this couple, lady with her glasses. They look like 3D glasses almost. Is this the one on the cover? It is. This is a cover photo. Don't know why they chose that one as a cover photo. That's kind of interesting, I guess. Yeah, this looks like someone, like a reporter who's just phoned in a news story. It's another photo I like. I wonder what they're looking at. Look at his face. Oh, that's an interesting one. Look at the lady had a bit of a fall. I've always wondered about this photo, how they took it. I mean, I would hope it's not staged, but it looks like the guy's about to give him money. Maybe he was about to take a photo of the guy, and then someone pulled up and gave him a coin. I mean, this kind of like reminds me of a character that maybe Richard Avedon will have in his photos. Look at that jaw and the posture with his head forward. By the way, guys, this is a very big book. Not even halfway yet. So I'm gonna say, so if it's too boring, put it on double speed. I'm trying to take my time with these, and but it is kind of a long book. This one's kind of a famous one, isn't it? This family carrying chimpanzees. I have no idea about the context of this photo. I mean, look at this chimp. He's completely dressed in street. They're completely dressed in like kids' clothes. This is one of the first photos. I remember seeing this in an exhibition in Tokyo. And this is when I was first trying to understand photos. And I mean, it has a bit of mystery there, doesn't it? It looks like a storm's going to come soon. And then you have the darkness inside the garage. I mean, I think would that be the parent back there? I mean, it's kind of mysterious, isn't it? Now this is starting to remind me of Robert Frank as well. I wonder if these guys were... I gotta do my research about when Robert Frank was taking photos, but this is 64. I wonder if these guys were crisscrossing the streets at the same time. And maybe one day I'll get around to filming Robert Frank's The Americans. This is a great one. I've always loved this one. It looks like a boxer. See, if the subject's interesting enough, it doesn't need to be in focus. Kind of adds to the mystery a little bit. Oh my God. Oh, what a character. Yep. If somebody offered me that car, I'd take it. Yes, please. Man. Swimming pigs, of course. Swimming pigs, sorry, not pigs. This reminds me of that Primus Winona's Big Brown Beaver, the dancing guy who's dressed like that. God, I have so many random links with photos sometimes. My brain seems to connect all these different images. Still in the 60s. It says here he was opposed to the war in Vietnam and suspicious of the excesses towards which military power can tend. He didn't express interest in going to Vietnam to photograph. But he did catch photos of soldiers, sailors and airmen coming home. Oh, that's a tough one, isn't it? See, every now and again when you look at these old photos, you have very sharp photos. And then you have ones that are kind of not so focused. I do love the sharp ones with a high contrast. Well, it's not really high contrast, it's kind of silver. But what a beautiful looking car. I'm not a car guy, but I gotta say that car looks very nice. My ma, look at those glasses. Looks like Bono. Fast forward that guy to nowadays, he'd be the fashion icon if he dressed like that. That was amazing. Ooh. It says he was drawn to spectacles of all kinds throughout his life, but in the 50s they usually involved performers, scripts and stages. In the 60s, the streets of urban America became a sort of improvisational theatre in which anyone who wanted to might become an actor. Muhammad Ali. We have Norman Mailer up here. It says here that he discovered that airport terminals were not unlike the streets and plazas of a city. Arenas where numberless minute dramas were continually acted out. So I guess he hung around airports looking for stories. I mean, that's a great one. Rarely seen nowadays with phones. People looking at their phones too much. This is also a great one. I've always loved this one with the nuns. What are they eating, like pie or something? Don't get me banned from YouTube, please. Oof. This is the late 60s, so 69. I guess a lot of these would be Vietnam protests. Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier fight over here. It says here he moved away from New York and he went briefly to teach in Chicago, then Texas and LA, where he came to the end of his life in 1984. Said he'd done his strongest work in his early 60s, and then in 1973 sought to deepen his investigation by returning to New York, I guess. I wonder if, I think that says Portnoy's Complaint, which is a Philip Roth book. I wonder if that's a movie or a play. Huh. Yeah, Philip Roth is someone I've only read a few of his books. I find them a bit dense at times. I did buy a whole stack of them though. As you most probably know by now, I buy too many books. These ones always made me giggle a little bit. Don't get me banned from YouTube, please. Yeah, this guy looks like a lucky guy. Look at him with two ladies. Again, you kind of think like, is there an influence that photographers have on directors? Because if you've seen not Inland Empire, if you've seen Mulholland Drive by David Lynch, there's that scene where the old couple get in the car and at one stage they're laughing in the back, and kind of reminds me of this kind of couple that they pick up from the airport. Although in Lynch's film they look much more wacky. Okay, I think we have 1/3 left. Yeah, the one that I mentioned, that documentary I watched was, I just downloaded it, but I'm starting to see these photos are taken from more of a higher level, so I do wonder if these ones were the ones where he was carrying his daughter around. I don't know. This one doesn't seem to be, so maybe I'm wrong. If you've heard that story, let me know. I'll try to find that clip in YouTube and may link it up. There's a whole series of these, I don't think it's PBS, but there were a whole series of like these short, like half-an-hour documentaries. I mean, they look like they were videotaped, to be frank. The quality was pretty poor, but if I can track those down on YouTube, maybe I'll link them up. They're a great watch. I think I watched them just when I started to be more interested in photography in 2004, and I watched all these great documentaries, and I just put these photos into a little bit more context. Man, that's a mysterious photo, isn't it? Because before you take photography seriously, you can most probably just look at these photos and say, what's the purpose? Yeah, I mean, there are decisions here made with framing, right? This guy's on the right side. I mean, he could have easily have shifted more to the middle, but there's a concrete decision here to frame it like this. See, this is subject in the center. Are we done? I think we're pretty much done. Let me quickly flick through. Sorry, I'm gonna speed ahead a little bit. There's Robert Frank again. This is showing where his photos popped up in magazines. I mean, I should be better at reading all this. Seriously, what a wasted opportunity. Here I am. I mean, I think this may be the first time that I've actually sat down and flipped through it in such a slow manner, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Kind of forcing myself to slow down. I do have a book of like Magnum's contact prints, and I'm considering selling it because I think I bought it like 15 years ago and haven't even looked at it. Man, I do like the idea of looking at contact sheets, but especially in the days of film, because you can kind of understand, like, I mean, this guy must have taken like thousands of photos. How do you choose the good ones? More and more photos. Again, this is his daughter, I believe. He seemed like a really nice guy. Okay, I think I missed a page, but I don't think you guys need to see that page. Okay, we're almost done. Some more contact photos, contact sheets. Okay, we are done. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope my constant blabbering on didn't bother you too much. Let me know what you think. Are you a fan of Garry's? Have a great day.